We have a special guest from GSTN. We have with us Mr. Bhuwan Joshi, who is the Vice President of GSTN. He looks after the enterprise architect. We welcome Mr. Bhuwan Joshi. Thank you so much for joining us in the inaugural of APEC Virtual 2-Day Finnovation Conclave, BFSI Finnovation Conclave. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sovik, giving me opportunity to have a discussion with you and presenting our system to outside world. So this is really nice of you.
I'm sure that people who are present here today will be eager to know the insights of GST and how it works, especially with the technological aspects. So my first question to you will be that what are the salient features of GST and enterprise architecture you would like to highlight?
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to tell you that this is one of the most complex and the new gen indirect tax system across the world. So when we started this journey, it was because we have started very late. If you look at we just started GST regime in 2017, right? This system has to be next gen system. So we took help of a lot of people who architected Aadhaar and took a lot of feedback from internet scale companies like we contacted with Yahoo, we contacted with Facebook. So we understood that how they work on a scale, right? So based on that, we decided our architecture. So this architecture is completely microservice based architecture, which is now a buzzword. But at that time, there was very few companies who were on that platform, and not only microservice based architecture. At that time, we thought of a containerized solution, so that so combination of this gave us the flexibility, one, to develop a system in phases and as a service. So our approach from the start was that we built is like a platform like Facebook or Twitter, where they not only provide you service but are open APIs through which you can integrate the services with your application. And like any of the you might have seen application where you can go and do a tweet, right? From their application you can do a tweet, right? So this way, they have ensured is not only you come to that platform for doing any work, but you can integrate with your own system also. So this has made like WhatsApp. If you look at right now, WhatsApp can be integrated very easily with any of the business application. So same philosophy we have adopted, and we have created our complete system based on that principle. So if you look at every feature which is there present there in our system is API based, RESTful API. So right now, as GST portal is basically consuming these features, it can be consumed by any of other third party application, be it government or private. And it gives me immense pleasure that right now around more than 300 ASP and GSPs are using these APIs and providing various tax compliances across the to a lot of taxpayers. So this has given us flexibility two ways. One is that we have a varied spectrum of taxpayer with us, right? On one hand, we have taxpayers who have more than 10 lakh invoices in a month, right? And then on the other hand, we have very small uh, SMEs who basically does only 50, 40, 10 invoices upload, right? So if you see, so you cannot create a solution which cater to all the needs of one, right? Because for the small guys, what they want is they want that system should be very simple. You just upload and this give you a feedback. But if I look at a 10 lakh upload people, they will want everything to be done through system to system, right? They will not come on our portal, upload invoice one by one, right? It will be a humongous task for them. So this variety of taxpayers has forced us to create such kind of platform that we can give service to each and every customer, and the API is the right route. So we have provided our portal for all SMEs or any other person who want to come on the portal. If people want to integrate, like large companies, they want to integrate directly, they have the open APIs, they can come and integrate with us. So this has given us immense flexibility and also make the system very scalable. And I would like to share some stats which will be very interesting to know that right now we are processing around 1.5 crore invoices per 1.5 crore returns we are processing per month on end of the quarter. And we basically process around 30 crore invoices per month. Total we have around 1500 crore invoices right in our system. It's around 800 petabytes of data we have right now. So we have processed till now more than 41 crore returns. So there are various figures I can give you on and on, because, and you know that now initially we had some trouble, teething trouble, as every in such a massive scale system phase, but now we are pretty stabilized, and you can see the revenues, collections, and all those things. Right now, GST system is not. I mean, it's basically people are praising that now. It's become very very stable.
Right, right. My second question was on how GSTN is leveraging the concept of open AI, API-based platform. You have already answered that, but I'll
Yeah,
take a
yeah.
cue from what you have said about the data, the huge and humongous amount of data you're dealing with. You means GSTN is dealing with every month.
Hmm.
You gave the statistics about that. So how far the data-driven decision making is being leveraged uh, using big data technologies in the GSTN ecosystem?
Okay. Oh, that's a very interesting question, and I would like to answer it in two phases. So, if you look at any tech system, this is basically, if we talk about a tech system, mainly we think that okay, there will be some government official who will be using this data and basically churning out who are the tech. I mean, just getting the insight to get more and more revenue. But here in GST system, our approach is twofold. We wanted to use this data also for user to giving user a lot of flexibility. Like I can give you some examples. Like we have given comparison of data, like what you file in GSTR1, what you file in GSTR3B, what is the difference it shows to you, and then it also gives you a basically chart that how you are utilizing your ITC. So all these things, not only, and on the back end I will tell you that tax officer is already leveraging it for various purposes, and in the news you might be hearing that there are so many fraudulent activities are getting caught, and system has a larger role to play on that. But on the taxpayer side, which I want to just bring to your notice, this is basically people do not talk about it, but we have given a lot of these functionality on the front end, like auto computed data, which we are giving right now, auto populated returns. So more and more such humongous data we are doing churning at the background and giving user a lot of things upfront, so that later on there is no issues in reconciliation. You might be knowing that there is a provision for a yearly return also, right, where they do all the reconciliation. So we are giving automated report that what is there in system, and user can easily match and do the reconciliation. On the backend side, we are using it for fraudulent activities, doing taxpayer 360 view, so that tax officer can quickly pick up only those guys where they have some suspicion. Otherwise, most of the people will go through the green channel. So idea is to use this data, give more insight to taxpayer, so that he himself can correct data, right? It may also happen that sometime he is not aware that there are discrepancy happening, because system is doing a lot of churning at the background and giving his feedback immediately that boss, there is a mismatch, you please look after it, so that there is no further assessment and inquiries. So this way, and you know that right now e-invoice data, all these are giving, it's a very good indicator of our economic activities also. So all this data churning at the back end, leveraging big data technologies, we are helping both government and taxpayers.
Right. I'll stick to this point. And I'll ask a question again related to this, that as I was asking that considering the humongous amount of data that the GSTN is using, how are you using the open source architecture? And especially when we talk about the open source architecture, the cybersecurity is also very important. So,
Right.
what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so there are 2 points to it, right? If we talk about open source technologies, so GST system, almost 99% stack, software stack is on open source. So we don't use any proprietary technologies. We are completely on open source. So this gives us two, three flexibility. One is that we work on commodity hardware, so our cost remains low. We are not paying for licenses, only support we pay. So this way we can scale very very fast with very less cost. Second is, because of this open API, it basically open ecosystem is evolving very fast, so we can leverage those fast innovation into our systems, right? And third part is, they, because of open system, they also develop their system as open API, so we can integrate those things and do a lot of automation, which we are right now doing on the background. As far as security goes, so security is one of the key element right from the design right from the start of this project. So if you look at what we have done is, so basically right from the infrastructure layer security, where we are putting a lot of firewalls, all new age tools which are available in the market. That is one part we are doing infrastructure level. Second is we have designed it at a layered architecture, where our core system, which has all the data, which does the processing and keep the data, that is only on the inner layer. So suppose there's a first layer where it is interacting with users. Second layer, which is we created a web layer which only talks to core layer, which is where basically your system data reside. So in a way, 3 4 layer of security we have already layering we have built in, and in each and every layer we have built in all physical security, so that only upper layer can talk to the lower layer. So you cannot have your front end layer directly talk to your core layer. So this way we have created a lot of layers around it. So this gives one security and a lot of access control tools, all those normal things we have already done. As far as data encryption goes, our data we are following two approaches. One is transport layer security is very common, which through HTTPS, so that is okay. But we are also doing payload encryption. So if we interact with any of the GSP or ASP, with that third party application, all our payload is also encrypted. So, and we have created a unique framework ourselves. It is designed by GST itself, GST system, where it gives you a API based approach where you can exchange key and do the encryption. And it's very, very fast. And and it is working fantastically well. So it is our homegrown thing. So in a way, if you look at security, we have taken care of by doing these activities: encryption plus physical level security, and obviously access control, PAM, basically anonymization. So a lot of techniques we have used to secure the data.
If I just take an example of GSTs, which is being used in some other countries like France, Singapore, Malaysia, China. If we talk about the enterprise architecture as a whole for the GSTN system, because what we are using and what they're using, there's a difference, right? So, where do you rate India's GSTN network compared to these countries which are using GST or some other form of GST in terms of the digital innovation they're leveraging or the enterprise architecture? Do you think it's quite similar to them, or India has its own method of doing it?
So I, whatever my limited knowledge is, what I have learned, I mean, read about their system is, we have 2 3 things very unique from their system. One is that our processing in instant. So what happens here is, you give me a payload, I will instantly process it and give you a feedback whether your return is correct or not filed. All the checks we do almost in real time, which is not, I think it is not there anywhere, right? Second is a very open architecture, which is very unique to India. It started with Aadhaar and now with UPI and then this GST system. So this is very unique, where anybody can develop without any, basically their technology constraint is not there, right? Most of the system, what they will do is they will take that system built, they will work with 2 3 vendors and they will certify, okay, this is the product, that is the product you take, and then you explore it. But here our system is anybody can develop, right? We have these open standards, you follow that, you follow the security guidelines, you follow some of the guidelines which we provide, and you develop system. So in a way, this is quite unique. Second is a feature where any and the buyer can also see the data. This is also very, very unique. So if you I mean, if we discuss about, there is one outward supply. So suppose a seller is selling to a person A, seller is selling to B, right? So seller will upload his invoice and B will in the real time will see that some data is come to it. So it is very, very unique, right? So suppose I am selling to you, you can immediately know that you have uploaded some data on my behalf into a system, and then you can get ITC. So this is also very, very unique to our system. So if you look at, because we have also an advantage, right? We are 2000, I mean, millennium system, and all these systems are all legacy systems. So that advantage we have. But I would say rate our system very, very high. I mean, it's like a next generation system. They are aspiring to become something like us.
That's quite heartening to know. And if I may ask you that before we end this portion of this inaugural session, what is your overall thought on the innovation being happening in the financial sector in India? We have come a long way and long way to go, I know.
Yeah,
But
it's
where do you see India 5 years down the line in terms of the Finnovation? The name of this event is BFSI Finnovation Conclave. So the innovation in the BFSI sector, where do you see we are going or we are marching?
I think
Towards?
I think we are now, we started as a, I mean, novice to it, but within 5 years or so, what we have achieved is phenomenal in payment. If you see with the UPI, a person can transfer 10 rupees, 5 rupees, 2 rupees, right, without any cost. So you cannot imagine in the world, and people are following us now. Similarly, in the tax front, or so any of the new age government system which were coming up. So the scale, the way we are opening our APIs, we're creating ecosystem. I think we are moving ahead the curve, and probably sooner or later people will follow us and come to us for advice. I think some of the countries are already coming to us for UPI. Similarly, for GST system also, we have get very good compliments from the outside world, and probably people will obviously, once we mature, basically it's a very small time, right? If you look at any this kind of complex system, only 5 year old, right? So it's a very, uh, I mean, you would say it's a system which has only just evolving. But once we get, I mean, now we are seeing it's quite stabilizing. So I think within next 1 or 2 years, you will see that it will be quoted as a next generation system across the industry also. So I
That's
think we
wonderful
have,
to know. That's
yeah.
wonderful to know that next 2 3 years it will be at par with the best of the standards in the world over,
And we are
not only in
just
India.
already, but yes, people will recognize and follow us. That's the only point I want to add.
We were all hopeful, and
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
the kind of insights you have given about the GSTN technology scenario, it's quite remarkable, I must say, and I must congratulate you and your team for making this happen. It's huge amount of data, huge amount of invoices being, and real time update, as you were saying. It's remarkable indeed. With this, we come to the end of the inaugural session of the 2 day BFSI Finnovation Conclave. Earlier, we had seen the presence of Sri Samir Verma, who is the Special Secretary of Finance, Government of Uttar Pradesh, along with Mr. Amit Saxena, who is the CTO of RBI Innovation Hub. And now we have Mr. Bhuwan Joshi, Vice President of Enterprise Architect of GSTN. Thank you so much, Bhuwan Joshi, for joining us in the inaugural. But before we let you go, we have a small token of appreciation for you. We want to present you with the BFSI Leadership Award. And here comes the certificate of your appreciation from us, APEC BFSI Innovation Leadership Award. We are proud to recognize Mr. Bhuwan Joshi, Vice President of Enterprise Architect of GSTN, for your pioneering role in the innovation and technology leadership in the BFSI sector. It is our honor to recognize your efforts, sir. Thank you so much for joining us in the inaugural.
Thank you, Sovik, for giving us opportunity and telling outside world that we are doing great work. I mean, that's thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Take care. Goodbye. But for our audience, I would like to inform you that do join us for the next session at 11:30 a.m. today, in which we'll see industry presentation starting off of the 2 day BFSI Innovation Conclave, and also during this break, you can visit the expo area where you can see many of our partners who have put their virtual stall. You can get insights there as well. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us in the inaugural. See you in the next session at 11:30 a.m. today for the industry presentation.